So this is my museum vlog. I'm going over sort of a artifact and what it means to a particular club in this instance, and overall its contribution into English history and sort of what it led to and all those sorts of things. So the artifact I'm covering is the 1988 FA Cup. Today we went and toured AFC Wimbledon's Stadium Plough Lane. It was super fun getting to go tour there, especially since they just did all these new renovations on the stadium, and it looks super nice, super clean, and just very modern compared to what you'd expect for a team that's in League One, kind of hovering in the relegation zone, looking at League Two again. We got to see a bunch of their old trophies and jerseys and old just kind of memorabilia items that they sort of had. Like they had an old Plough Lane sign and things like their mascot costumes that have been like decommissioned or whatever. And then we came down to kind of like the last little part of the like information that they were giving all of us, and it was a big shadow box full of jerseys, medals, tiny FA Cup replicas, and a bunch of like the match day photos and match day program and posters and stuff. In the shadow box, they had a replica of like the actual FA Cup itself, which was super cool. Obviously, like the FA Cup is a massive deal here, and it's also a massive trophy like in itself. It was huge. It was very cool to see it in person. Like I didn't have the sort of respect for the size and like the scope of the trophy until I really got to see it in person. And then what we learned about the trophy was that AFC Wimbledon were definitely not meant to win the trophy by any means. They were very much the underdogs going into this match. They were up against Liverpool, who were an absolute like just steamrolling train at that time in the 1980s. They were the champions of the first division that season, going into the final, and Wimbledon had just finished seventh in their second season ever in the first division. So in and of itself, they were already like punching above their weight in the league, and so for them to be in the final was very impressive. Since the FA Cup is played past like the end of the season, it's sort of the last one that they'll get in. There was 98,000 fans at Wembley. Obviously, this was around when all the safe stadium stuff was being put in, so they probably had a bit of standing room still, but that's a huge crowd. Obviously, like 98,000 is much more than they can hold in there today, I believe. Their current max capacity is 88,000 off the top of my head. And so what went on throughout the match was the first half was a good half, obviously, for Wimbledon. That was the half they scored in. Lori Sanchez had a header in the 37th minute to put them 1-0 up. And then they just kind of held on. Obviously, there was always a little bit of drama when you're playing Liverpool in a cup final. And so Dave Besant, who we learned was a huge like club cult hero, especially for some of the antics he had in net and for doing his homework. As the tour guide told us, he had prepared for any penalty takers he saw, and he knew by the run-up, we were told, which way the player was going to shoot. So he read the run-up, guessed correctly, and dove towards the shot, saved it, and that held the clean sheet for Wimbledon, and they've managed to find a way to hold on and win the game. They shocked the world. As there's a quote by John Motson, who was commentating the game for the BBC, and he said, "The Crazy Gang have beaten the Culture Club." That was what they were referred to. Wimbledon was referred to as the Crazy Gang because a lot of the antics their players had for like hazing their own teammates and the physios and other teams even. And so this ultimately big, shocking victory for a team that no one really expected to be there in the first place led to one of the biggest trophies in their history, and it's a very historic trophy. It's one of the most revered in the country. Wimbledon are just one of the many winners who get to show off such a awesome trophy that they have in their history. And I just thought it was super cool to get to see it in person and hear more about the game itself that led to them winning it, and more about that was pretty recent in most of their lives. And I just thought it was pretty cool. I got to go and hear about the history of the game and all the stuff that happened, and hear about the club heroes from the game, and just to see the trophy in person and just learn more about what an awesome moment that was for a team like AFC Wimbledon to win an FA Cup like that. And I just thought that it was the perfect artifact to talk about for this topic.